Quadeca has dropped two of possibly the best concept albums ever made, I Didn't Mean to Haunt You and Vanisher Horizon Scraper. Now that Vanisher has been out for a couple of days, I decided to take songs from each track list and put them head to head to find out what songs are really better. Now this video is all subjective, just my opinion, so if you disagree that's totally okay, let's just be civil about it in the comments. Vanisher has 14 songs with I Didn't Mean to Haunt You only having 11, which means we had to make some changes. I took out the opening track No Questions Asked. I also removed I Dream About Sinking, as well as Natural Causes, because I didn't really know where to put that one, even though I think it's a great song. So the matchups we have today are on the screen. It goes Sorry for Dying versus Waging War, Tell Me a Joke versus Ruin My Life, Don't Mind Me versus Godstained, Picking Up Hands versus At a Time Like This, Born Yesterday versus Monday, The Memories We Lost in Translation versus Dancing Without Moving, House Settling versus The Great Bakunawa, Knots versus Thunder, Fantasy World versus That's Why, Fractions of Infinity versus Foregone, and Cassini's Division versus Casper. Now you'll notice some of these tracks were rearranged. I wanted the songs with Danny Brown to be against each other, and I wanted the bangers like Knots and Thunder to be head to head, so we did switch up the order. I hope you guys understand. Now that that's all out of the way, if you're new around here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's just get right into this video. Alright, so our opening round, Sorry for Dying versus Waging War. Sorry for Dying is, of course, a proper intro to the album I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, really giving us an outline of what the story's about. Obviously, he's dead, he's sorry for it, and we go on this journey of him being stuck in this limbo and the world he creates in I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. It's honestly such a beautiful track. It's very eerie. I love the ghostly vocals. Like, everything about it just fits this album so well. I do think it's a very strong opener and honestly quite an underrated Quadeca song. And it's taking on Waging War, which on paper is one of my least listened to on Vanisher, but it's growing on me every day. That first half of the song, the first like 3.5 minutes, is genuinely incredible. The way it builds up every time the chorus comes around, and it's just, oh my god. The vocals are so good, the lyrics are so good, the instrumental so powerful, and of course that switch up with the rap verse at the end, and the hectic, chaotic drums around it and everything. It's a great song, but I am gonna give this round to Sorry for Dying. I do think it's a bit of a better song, and for this first matchup, I'm going to give it to I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, making it 1-0. Next up, we have Tell Me a Joke versus Ruin My Life. This one is tough. Tell Me a Joke is honestly one of his best songs he's ever made to this day. It's such a banger. The lyrics are great. The live drums and just all the instruments on it go crazy. Of course, that outro is so powerful and so amazing. I love his vocals on this, the performance. The tone of I Didn't Mean to Haunt You with those like ghostly vocals, he absolutely kills it. And it's taking on Ruin My Life, which is such a strong track on Vanisher. Such a stripped back Quadeca song, kind of just him and his acoustic guitar. And of course, the switch up at the end with the heavy distortion, the What Have I Done. The speech by Maruja in the middle of the song's great. This song's all around like fantastic, but I do think I have to give this one to Tell Me a Joke, so that's gonna make it 2-0 I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. The next matchup we have is Don't Mind Me versus Godstained. Don't Mind Me is such an underrated track off of Haunt You. It's really one of the most important songs lyrically on this album, in my opinion. Gives us such an idea of what this album is, you know. Sorry for Dying's a great intro, Tell Me a Joke's a banger, but then Don't Mind Me lyrically is one of the most important songs, in my personal opinion. I love the ending where the vocals are panning left to right. I think everything about this song's great. The chorus is fantastic. This is one of those songs that grew on me like crazy over time. And it's taking on Godstained, which is just such a fun, easy listen on this album. The story of this song is absolutely insane. Quadeca's character, of course, the sailor, he finds this bottle in the ocean. He thinks this bottle is something mesmerizing, you know? He thinks he found something incredible in the ocean on his journey, but it's just a dumbled bottle. So I think that's such an intriguing story and intriguing writing approach. The instrumental on this is so addicting. It sounds so beautiful. The strings, everything about it, when the drums come in, it's insane. The vocal performance is one of his best. I'm gonna give this one to Godstained, making it 2-1 now. I Didn't Mean to Haunt You still in the lead. Picking Up Hands versus At a Time Like This. Picking Up Hands is a fan favorite, honestly. Such a beautiful song. The acoustic guitar is great. Of course, that beautiful ending. I feel like I've said that about every song, but Quadeca knows how to end a song. The Follow Me Closely part, you know what I'm talking about. His voice sounds great. This song's devastating. You know, kind of Quadeca's ghost, like reminiscing and walking through his old childhood, like house and home, seeing everyone move on from his death at this point. It's very tragic, it's very heavy, and at a time like this, I think is one of the most insanely creative Quadeca songs to this day. There's so many switch ups on this track. It grew on me probably the most out of any song on Vanisher. It's one of my favorites now. The way he repeats At a Time Like This, but it comes in at way like different parts, and the instrumental around it creates like such a different vibe every time. It's so good. The writing's fantastic following Godstained. God, it's just such a good story, such a good song. I'm giving this one 2 out of time like this, making it 2-2. Now, this is a really tough one. Born Yesterday versus Monday. Oh my God. So Born Yesterday was the first single off of I Didn't Mean to Haunt You. This song's absolutely life-changing. Quadeca is saying he's not stupid, like he knows moving on from his death is not as easy as it looks. It's kind of hurting his feelings, you know, his character is very devastated seeing his family move on. The lyrics are so deep on this. The way the I Wasn't Born Yesterday builds up is just so incredible. When it drops finally, oh my God, it's truly life-changing. This song had me shook. I remember where I was, what I was doing. I set an alarm to wake up early to listen to the premiere of this song. Like, it was just, you had to be there. This was such an amazing intro to I Didn't Mean to Haunt You, and I think this is the best song on that album. And it's taking on Monday, which is just a beautifully written love song. His vocals on it are incredible. The instrumental is so peak. It hits so hard. The writing is like beautiful yet heartbreaking. But in all honesty, I think Born Yesterday is the better all-around track, but this one's so close. I'm giving it to Born Yesterday, making it 3-2. Then we have I Didn't Mean to Haunt You's Interlude track, The Memories We Lost in Translation, taking on Dancing Without Moving. Admittedly, this one feels a little bit out of place. I was tempted to put Natural Causes here because it kind of feels like an interlude in itself, but I couldn't take Dancing Without Moving off of this video. The Memories We Lost in Translation does a great job at being what it is, an interlude. It follows Born Yesterday, feels like you're in this memory, like it literally creates that. You hear like these childhood memories. It's honestly really well curated and really well produced. And it's taking on Dancing Without Moving, and even if this was Natural Causes, I think you have to give this round to Vanisher, making it 3-3 now. Dancing Without Moving is just so peak. It's honestly so fun. One of the most catchy songs on this entire project, the one I've revisited the most. It's such a perfect song with such a perfect name, Dancing Without Moving, because you just want to dance the entire time. The chorus is fantastic. God, he made such a good hook on this one. And the lyrics are all around just a fun time. And again, I will give a shout out to Natural Causes. Even if it was that song, I think it clears Memories We Lost in Translation. It's just a beautiful song. It's eerie. It does everything it needs to do. But that makes it tied 3-3. Alright, now we switch up the track list because we have House Settling taking on The Great Bakunawa, 2 songs featuring Danny Brown, rapping from the perspective of something crazy. Let's start with House Settling. This song is fantastic. Quadeca's ghost character walking around the house and the family chalking it up to being the house settling when it's really him creaking the floorboards, walking around it. Danny Brown's rap verse is from the perspective of carbon monoxide. Like, are you kidding me? What is that? What I will give to this song is that Danny Brown, his verse on this is a little bit longer, and it goes crazy, and I think it's a more innovative, interesting kind of perspective, carbon monoxide versus a monster. Quadeca's verse is very good. I think the Dead to Me is iconic. That's one of my favorite moments on the entire album. When he yells Dead to Me, it hits so hard. The production is crazy. It gets overwhelming when Danny Brown enters. It's just fantastic. It's taking on The Great Bakunawa. This song, oh my God. This is one of the weirdest Quadeca songs ever, and I love that. Danny Brown raps from the perspective of this great Bakunawa, a Philippine monster that is said to eat the moons until there was only one remaining, and then it was lulled to sleep by someone, and that's exactly what the song is. God, it's fantastic. Danny Brown's verse is really just, it's on the nose, you know what he's saying, you understand the story, which is where I think House Settling does maybe a little bit better, because you can kind of decide what you think House Settling's about without knowing entirely, but with Bakunawa, it's pretty on the nose. But where this song really separates for me is Quadeca's verses. I think his rap verses are insane. I think the production is incredible. It's so weird. It's just all over the place. This album's perfectly described because it's like Vanisher Horizon Scraper, this ocean. You never know what's going to happen in the ocean. It can go in any direction, and that's exactly what this album does. I'm going to give this round to The Great Bakunawa. I think it's a bit of a stronger track than House Settling, so it's going to be 4-3 Vanisher. Oh my God. Now we have Knots versus Thunder. This is maybe the toughest round yet. Knots, an absolute banger. The instrumental is insane. He described the song as having like a panic attack, and it really does feel like it. Of course, the very infamous beat switch in the middle of the song where it becomes more of like a rap track. Jesus, it's just so good. The energy carried throughout the song is insane. Both of these songs can like give you anxiety if you don't know what you're getting into. It's kind of crazy. And for Thunder, it's just a banger. My God. One of the hardest Quadeca songs he's ever made. It's like a rage song made by Quadeca, which I never thought we'd see. Lyrically, I think Knots does way more, and I also think Knots progresses a lot more than Thunder. I think there's a lot more to it. I do think Thunder's fantastic. Like, they're neck and neck. I'm not saying anything bad about it. But I think, honestly, Knots might be just slightly better for me. So that's going to tie up the score for a piece. Then I did Fantasy World versus That's Why. Fantasy World is just one of the best Quadeca songs ever, still. like a flashback song during the story. Quadeca's lazy, like sleepy vocals in the beginning before exploding into that huge instrumental burst. It's just, it's so crazy. The energy comes back at the end. The lyrics are so heartbreaking, like they're truly devastating. This is one of the most fantastic Quadeca songs he's ever made, and it's taking on That's Why, which is also just such a great song. The opening rap verse is one of the deepest things he's ever written, in my opinion. It goes crazy. The instrumental, like you never know where the song's gonna go. The like very scary strings that we get before the second rap verse. And of course, when the acoustic guitar comes in and it just randomly turns into the most beautiful song ever. I don't understand how he does it. That's Why is one of my favorites on Vanisher, but I do think Fantasy World is a bit of a better song, which means I Didn't Mean to Haunt You is now in the lead 5-4 with 2 songs to go. Then we have Fractions of Infinity versus Foregone. This is one of the most intriguing matchups. Fractions of Infinity is honestly one of the best songs he's ever made too. There's so many songs on these albums that are like top 10, top 15 Quadeca songs. Fractions of Infinity is a fan favorite, probably the most important song on this entire album. The writing is so deep. You know, at this point the character's kind of accepting and realizing what he is and who he's gonna be through his death before we get the final track, Cassini's Division. The hook is so powerful. The Sunday Service Choir at the end, with probably the most infamous Quadeca lyric ever. Those words don't do you justice. It's just powerful. The rap verse in the middle of the song is so incredible. Everything about this song is perfect. But it's taking on Foregone, which I can say the same thing about. The way the piano is being like slammed while being played on this is so powerful. The vocal performance is fantastic. The writing is truly like gut-wrenchingly sad. The last verse on this song, like I literally just want to scream into a pillow and drown myself. The instrumental at the end to close this song off is just peak. I think this is Quadeca's greatest song ever, which means obviously it gets the win. Vanisher gets the win on this round. It's gonna be 5-5 entering the last round. This genuinely wasn't planned. Like, it's just kind of how it's going, and I'm freaking out about it. 5-5 entering the last round. For the final round, we have Cassini's Division versus Casper. These songs are very similar but very different. They're both more of like a narration, Cassini's Division being described more as like a poem. A very subtle beat. Thor Harris on the drums on this one. It sounds great. I love when the drums really start popping off on this. This is such a great closer to this album. Although it's not the most re-listenable song in his discography, it's such an important track, and honestly kind of a perfect track for the ending of this album. The character accepts what he is and doesn't put up a fight against it anymore. It's taking on Casper, which is also just more of a narration from Marujah. Quadeca's like lazy, sad vocals in the beginning, kind of showing he's like almost defeated by this journey, but still wants to keep going, asking if they can just go somewhere. He wants to find something. He wants to get to that horizon that he knows he can never reach. And then Marujah comes in as this like god figure, giving a very, very good like narration. And then we get this instrumental bridge where Marujah comes back in, and as they're given this speech, it gets more and more powerful with the production around it. The speech is honestly like goosebump inducing. It's so good. I remember I had so many chills. And then we get this huge explosion of an instrumental before the greatest thing that Quadeca's ever done in his music career, where we're jumping in and out of the water. As the instrumental explodes every time we jump out of the water, it's so well done. I don't even know how he created that, but it sounds brilliant. Honestly, I'm giving this one to Casper, and it's not even close, which means Vanisher Horizon Scraper is going to be your winner, 6-5. So that is how I would have these songs match up head to head. Honestly, I didn't expect it to be as close as it was, 5-5 entering the last round, 6-5 being the final score. I do think I would have to agree though that Vanisher is the all-around better album, which is crazy. They're both conceptual, but I think I Didn't Mean to Haunt You is weirdly easier to understand than something like Vanisher. Vanisher is such an interesting idea. I think it can do more musically and creatively, being this like ocean theme rather than just like death. Although I think I Didn't Mean to Haunt You is one of the greatest albums ever, I do think Vanisher probably is the better all-around album, and track for track, I do think Vanisher is an easier listen. Regardless, these are both fantastic. If you agreed, let me know in the comments below. How would you have these songs ranked, and what would you give the scores to? If you're new around here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.